pole, totem 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 pole.
Totem Pole Sports on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. Rainy Tuesday afternoon, weather conditions that is great for football. What is up? Tweet. Thank you for streaming in. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Totem Pole Sports. Today, the WNBA regular season starts tonight as Caitlin Clark makes her debut for the Indiana Fever. Also, there is a schedule in the NFL that is partially coming out. We will have a show tomorrow of the NFL release schedule, and some college football matchups have been released as well. And of course, how about my Boston Celtics? You can make any excuse for Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James was there at Game 4. You can say that Donovan Mitchell was hurt and he was out last minute. No excuses. They was within 5. Now, I'm going to talk about how the Celtics almost choked that game as well. But we are on our way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but we're not done. We need to make the finals, right? Now, I'm going to talk about last night's games before we recap the rest of the games and all this other stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Celtics take a 3-1 lead against the Cleveland Cavaliers without Donovan Mitchell. Whatever excuses y'all want to make, I don't really care. Cleveland did make it within a 5-point game. The Boston Celtics shot selection the last 7 to 8 minutes of the game was not great. We almost choked. Luckily, we got Darius Garland the 5 fouls and Max Strus the 6 fouls. So that's what happened. There were some bad calls here and there. Whatever you basically want to call it at the end of the day. But the offense of the Celtics looked kind of stale the last 5 minutes. I wish there was more ball movement, and I think Paul was somewhat right. You know, we relied too much on 3-pointers like with Golden State, and that almost cost us right there. Now, imagine if we would have lost 2-2, you know, the media, the sports world would have thought, you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers was on the Celtics level. Now, I don't think the Boston Celtics, like again, what they developed through the draft, and I said that on yesterday's show of Lambo and Basketball Sports, which will be trending right after this at 4 o'clock, which we got to recap top 10 teams in the SEC and Ole Miss and all that other stuff. But I've said the Boston Celtics built through the draft. They're not a super team. I don't even think Golden State is a super team as of now. Now, with KD, that's a different subject. Yes, they were a super team. You added Kevin Durant. He's great. The Boston Celtics have developed through the draft, got continuous draft picks. They got Porzingis. Porzingis was practicing on the course. I feel like we'll have Porzingis back by the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston Celtics Game 5 at home against Cleveland tomorrow at 7 p.m. Boston should be able to close the series tomorrow. They need to get the job done, close out the series. Don't give the Cleveland Cavaliers any type of hope. Don't give them any type of hope. Don't give them any hope. So Celtics, you know, I don't like the way we close out games in certain situations. It was pretty terrible. But we got a lot to work on before we on our way to the Eastern Conference Finals against the winner of the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks, which this series could be tied 2-2. If I'm correct. I think it's tied 2-2, or Game 4 is tonight, I think. Let me make sure. No, it's tied 2-2. Yeah, I forgot about that blowout on yeah, it's 2-2. I forgot about that blowout on Sunday. I just watched the game. So tonight's game, before I get to tonight's game, Oklahoma City and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, yesterday I said on Totem Pole Sports that I was right. I picked Boston OKC to win. OKC was down the whole entire game. But this young core group, Luka Doncic missed 2 critical free throws he should have missed. 2 critical free throws to tie the game, and he couldn't do it. He missed it. That's very unlike Luka Doncic to miss 2 free throws to tie the game. This Oklahoma City team is very young. This OKC team is very young. We can say they're the most inexperienced, but they tied the series at 2-2. Game 5 is tomorrow at 9:30. But this was, I wouldn't say it's a shocker. I pick OKC. Both of these teams, I guess they beat each other at their home courts. You had Shea Gilgeous-Alexander that dropped 34 points. Your second lead scorer was Chet Holmgren. He stepped up as well. And for the Mavericks, you had PJ Washington drop 21. Luka Doncic had 18. Daniel Gafford had 10. Kyrie had 9 points. So maybe from Kyrie's side, the Dallas Mavericks, I think, struggled just a little bit from Kyrie and Luka. PJ Washington was their leading scorer. But if you look at the game, the 3-point percentage for both teams against the Mavericks and OKC was not great. Each team, Thunder shot 26% from 3, 7 to 27, and Mavericks shot 12 of 35, 34% from the free throw line. So the OKC was almost perfect from the free throw line. The Dallas Mavericks really missed free throws. That's what the game came down to. Missed free throws. You're 12 of 23, the Dallas Mavericks from the free throw line? 12 of 23 from the free throw line. 12 of 23? And OKC is 23 of 24? Oh my goodness. And the turnovers. The Mavericks had 13, the Thunder had 7. So what did you lose in? Turnovers. You had too many turnovers. A lot of missed free throws. You shot the ball better except the 3-point percentage. I mean, y'all were basically, the Thunder was 7 of 27, 12 of 35. Each team, and Thunder shot 38%. The Mavericks shot 40%. But, I mean, you had more points in the paint. You had more blocks. You had more assists and still lost the game. The Mavericks were up by like 15, at least 15 points in the second quarter. Man. Now, I know Coach Taylor said that the Mavericks were going to make the NBA championship, but it's not a good sign. Now, I'm not saying to hit the panic button. I'm not saying the series is over, but, I mean, you had a chance to go 3-1. You had the momentum the whole game until you can't make free throws. Your best player, Luka Doncic, missed 2 free throws to tie a game. And he turned the ball over more than OKC did. Double. OKC shot 95% from the free throw line. The Mavericks shot 50 as a team. So nobody can make free throws. You're professional athletes. When you get fouled and create contact, you have to make free throws. Free throws was not made, and it's very embarrassing for the Mavericks to lose this game. Very embarrassing. We'll go over tonight's games real quick before I get into next thing of sports. So tonight's games, we had New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. I understand the New York Knicks got blown out by 40, 35 points on Sunday. Tonight is the night where the New York Knicks turn it around. Jalen Brunson is going to turn it around. Dante, Josh Hart, everybody on that team is going to turn around. They're at New York in Game 5. Redemption. I'm going to pick the New York Knicks to be up 3-2. I don't see the New York Knicks losing 2 straight games, but I will tell you this. If the Indiana Pacers keep shooting the way they keep shooting, this might be a very close game in New York. It might be very close because the Pacers had a chance to win Game 1. They had a chance to win Game 1 despite that terrible screen call. Indiana Pacers, they got a deeper bench than the Knicks do. Because the Knicks starters are getting tired. You averaging 40, 41 minutes a game. You're barely getting by. So that's why you got beat by 40. I mean, I trust Jalen Brunson, but I'm not sleeping on the Indiana Pacers team. I'm going to pick the Knicks to win Game 5 at home. Don't sleep on the Indiana Pacers. I know we criticize them for not playing defense, but this Indiana Pacers team can score points. This is why they were number 1 in scoring. They could score. Don't leave them open. Don't leave them open for the 3-point range. Do not leave them open. I'm not going to lie to you. As a Celtics fan, I'm scared for the Indiana Pacers more than I am for the Knicks. I'm very scared because Indiana can shoot. Pascal Siakam, you got Neesmith, you got Tyrese Halliburton, you got Miles Turner. Whew. Yeah. Rick Carlisle, just a great, great coach. Indiana's making some noise. Give me the Knicks in 5 at home. I don't see them losing. They may lose, but I don't see them with a terrible performance. Jalen Brunson's going to go off tonight. Jalen Brunson is going to go off tonight. He's not going to have a struggle shooting. He's going to go off. Promise you. Jalen Brunson is going to be the story tonight in Game 5. Game 5 tonight, we also have Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. Both of these teams won on each other's home court. Minnesota won at Denver twice, and Denver won at Minnesota twice. So none of these teams have won at home. None of these teams. And guess what Game 5 is at? Denver. Game 5 is in Denver. You know what's funny? I don't pick the Minnesota Timberwolves to win this game. None of these teams are going to win at home. Here's a scenario and how the scenario is going to happen. Minnesota Timberwolves win Game 5 tonight. Denver wins Game 6. Minnesota wins Game 7. The story is going to be that none of these teams can win on each other's home court. They all got to win on the road. They all got to make it tough. Anthony Edwards had 44 and a loss. Jokic, the Nuggets, they've been there before. They've gotten better. But this is a tough series. I said it's going to be a tough series. I said it was going to go 6. But the way it's looking, both of these teams can't win at each other's home court. And they're winning, they're taking, they're winning on the road. And they hadn't won at home. This going 7. Give me Minnesota in 7. Minnesota upsets America. And what Paul and Kirk has been saying on Totem Sports that the NBA doesn't want the Denver Nuggets to go repeat champions. Yeah, give me the Minnesota Timberwolves in 7. They're going to win tonight, lose Game 6, and win Game 7. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen tonight. That's what's going to happen. So my picks for tonight are New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right. WNBA. Ladies and gentlemen, WNBA season is debuting tonight. Caitlin Clark is debuting. One of the best players ever of college basketball. She debuts tonight. I bet on underdog that she's going to score over 17.5 points. You don't bet against Caitlin Clark. She is one of the greatest that you ever seen, one of the greatest shooters, and I respect her in her game and her competitiveness. She's a dog. She's her. She's her. She's like that. They play Connecticut tonight. They take on Connecticut. Number 1 overall pick. This is going to create a lot of viewership. Now, both of these WNBA teams, or 3 of these WNBA teams, have already moved their games to bigger arenas to keep up with the demand for tickets to watch and play. The debut in Connecticut is sold out for tonight's game. Yeah, so Caitlin Clark is history. They played in New York. Clark's home debut will be Thursday when they host the New York Liberty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Caitlin Clark is going to be something special tonight. Or just in the instance of Caitlin Clark, it's going to be one of the best in the WNBA. Now, I know it's her first game, and it may sound like I'm hopping on the bandwagon, but if you watch the viewership that Caitlin Clark brings, Caitlin Clark is like the next LeBron James of the WNBA. Everybody wants to watch her. She sells tickets. You should go ahead and watch that documentary. I think it may be on ESPN Plus or something. I need to go watch it. I love watching documentaries about sports because, see, sports is everything's about a story. I want Caitlin Clark to succeed. There's a lot of Caitlin Clark haters, but I'm not a Caitlin Clark hater. I'm not. I didn't like Iowa. I'm not a big Iowa fan. But when Caitlin Clark scores the basketball, you can't be shocked. This is what Caitlin Clark does. Now, the Indiana Fever probably suck because they were number one pick, obviously. The Indiana Fever weren't any good. But I'm going to be paying close attention to this game tonight. I got to make sure I don't take a nap in some shape, form, and way. But the Indiana Fever are probably going to do something. But she is selling tickets. If you bet on Underdog, DraftKings, or Prize Picks, bet on the overall Caitlin Clark to go over to 17.5 points. Ladies and gentlemen, Caitlin Clark is going to be something special in the WNBA. She is much-watched TV. She's much-watched. She's much-watched TV. Let me get into the NHL real quick. I don't know where Paul is at, to be honest. But just the NHL real quick. Hurricanes win Game 5. Jordan Stahl, Evgeny Kostov scored 3:06 in a part of the third period. The Carolina Hurricanes got 4 goals in the third period. 4-1 win over the New York Rangers in Game 5 in the second round of the playoff series. Starting off a second elimination game. Game 6 is Thursday in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Stars beat the Avalanche 5-1 in the Game 4 that came hours after the Avalanche standout Valerie Nicholson was suspended for at least 6 months. Johnson also had power play goals to the Stars, which grabbed a 3-1 lead in the second round. Dallas can close out the series at home in Game 5 tomorrow. So, Stanley Cup is going to be something interesting. I think both of these teams that won, they're going to be able to close out the series. That's what's going to happen. They're going to be able to close out the series because they have a chance to do some great things. All right, let's get into the NFL real quick. The Lions and Jared Goff signed a big extension. Yes. They signed a big extension, baby. $212 million, 4-year extension, $170 million guaranteed. Ladies and gentlemen, he deserves it. He may have got screwed over in L.A. with Sean McVay or whatever. Maybe he didn't live up to the expectations since that Super Bowl loss against the Patriots. But that defense was very legit. Very legit defense of the Patriots 2018. Whether you hate my team or hate them or hate Tom Brady or whatever not. That was a legit team. Jared Goff has redeemed himself. He took the Detroit Lions to the NFC Championship game. They have a playoff winning quarterback, and they paid him the correct amount of money. He's led the franchise to his first postseason win in 32 years. He beat Matthew Stafford, which, I picked the Rams to win, but he beat Matthew Stafford in the NFC wildcard game, which we know that was very personal in the trade. And a victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before they losing to the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. I've already talked about how they should have beat the 49ers. They had them beat, and they kept going for it on 4th and 3 and 4th down every goddamn time. They had the 49ers beat. The Lions and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, the rematch of Week 1, if that were to possibly happen, Lions fans would have been great. Like, wow, would have been shocked. You know what I'm saying? So, he has that. Brad Holmes acquired Goff for a pair of first-round picks in Stafford 3 years ago. 29-year-old Jared Goff was entering the final year of his deal. He will now be under contract through the 2028 season. Remember when the Lions were 1-6 in his debut year, and everybody wanted to give up on him? No, you don't give up on him. Remember in 2022, where They won the first division title, and they beat Aaron Rodgers. That was Aaron Rodgers last year in Green Bay. They beat them on Sunday Night Football. The Detroit Lions went 1-7 to 9-8. Yeah, they were on the road. They were hot. Jared Goff also threw 383 consecutive passes without an interception. That only trailed just two players in NFL history when he threw a pick last September. He finished the 2023 regular season number 2 in yards passing and 4th with 30 touchdowns. That included 5 that matched the franchise in personal records and route against Denver. Ladies and gentlemen, in postseason wins over the Rams and Tampa Bay, he completed 74% of his passes, 564 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. He also threw 273 yards and a touchdown against San Francisco, failing one short of the Lions' first Super Bowl. This man, Jared Goff, is one of the most accurate quarterbacks. Now, Aaron Rodgers is accurate as well, but I said one of the most accurate quarterbacks. One of means he's not the only one. Aaron Rodgers is accurate. Pat Mahomes is accurate. Lamar Jackson is accurate. Okay, I'm just talking about Jared Goff. Jared Goff deserves his money. Detroit Lions, their strength of schedule is probably going to be tough or easy or whatever the schedule is. The Detroit Lions will make some noise. They may represent the NFC. It's going to be between the 49ers and the Lions. I would not be surprised. All right. Well, Paul and everybody was talking shit about the Bills. They don't have any wide receivers, but they signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the guy that won the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. The Chiefs didn't pay him. Well, damn. The 6-year player with a 1-year contract, Valdez-Scantling. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's with the Kansas City Chiefs. He catched for 63 catches for 1,002 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had a 16-yard touchdown reception in the Kansas City Chiefs. He had the final touchdown pass, obviously. He was selected in the 5th round by the Green Bay Packers. This is great. Now, they lost everybody. Stephon Diggs went to the Texans. They lost a lot of teams. Excuse me, a lot of wide receivers. Curtis Samuel's on the roster. Mac Hollins, Chase Claypool, Quintez Cephas, and now Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, Paul. You're talking about free agency is over. Yeah, it's over. You can still sign players, dumbass. You can still sign players. And they still signed them. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills are still going to win the division. And I'm not talking about my patience. I hate the Buffalo Bills, but I'm being honest. You think your Jets going to win the division? Who did they play week 1? The 49ers. The team that went to the Super Bowl. Is that offensive line going to be okay? Because that 49ers D-line going to put pressure all over Aaron Rodgers. They're going to put pressure all over Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not an Aaron Rodgers hater. I just don't trust the Jets offensive line to hold up against a 49ers defensive line. Like, come on now. I can't wait. I can't wait for that game, Monday Night Football. The Jets versus the 49ers. Okay, they got receivers. We'll see how, this folds up into pressure. The Bills are still winning the division in the AFC East. I could say the Patriots, but I just don't see it. Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers are going to be the top quarterbacks. But right now, I'm picking Josh Allen over Aaron Rodgers. I'm just talking about Aaron Rodgers came off of injury and he's an older quarterback. I still think that Aaron Rodgers overall, career-wise, is better than Josh Allen, but he's coming off that Achilles. How healthy he's going to be. There's a lot of players that don't come back from Achilles very well. Achilles does change. Same thing with Kirk Cousins. He's not on Aaron Rodgers' level, but both quarterbacks are coming back from Achilles injuries. We'll have to see how effective he could be. By the way, the Jets are not making the NFC Championship game. Here's my prediction. And I've already said it. the Bengals versus the 49ers. That's a week 2 matchup between the Bengals and the 49ers. Both of those teams will make the AFC Championship game. NFL continues to reach the schedule. Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes in week 2. I say it and I say it again. The Chiefs and the Bengals are going to represent the AFC Championship game. I called it and I'm going to repeat it. The Chiefs and the Bengals are going to represent the AFC Championship game. Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow. First week is Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. 2-time defending Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs face a tough task. They face the Ravens in week 1 and week 2, Cincinnati Bengals. The league has also announced Aaron Rodgers and the Jets will open up against the 49ers. So, Paul, are they going to beat the 49ers? I know you're talking about that strength of the offensive line, but you trust your Jets offensive line, and you're Aaron Rodgers bandwagon, and you're so confident in the Jets. Where's the same energy about your Green Bay Packers? The Jets are gonna the offensive line is gonna hold up against the 49ers D-line? That's tough. That's tough. Thursday night football games. The Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Now, we know the Miami Dolphins have struggled to beat the Buffalo Bills, even in last year's game, in the final game of the season. Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty, don't forget, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the AFC, one of the top quarterbacks in the league. The meeting between the Bengals brings two teams together who have met and contested the AFC Championship games, Cincinnati winning in 2021 and Chiefs winning the following season. Yeah. Ratings, views. Josh Allen versus Tua, Buffalo Bills defeated the Dolphins in the final game to win the title. That's going to be a great matchup. Also, don't forget the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles will be playing in Brazil. They'll be playing in Brazil on Friday. Don't watch high school football. Don't go to high school football. You sit at home and you watch the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. Brazil is a country, not a continent. What's up, Orange Juice? Also, Tom Brady signed a 10-year contract with Fox. Oh, yeah, great matchup. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Cleveland Browns. Who am I picking? The Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett in that defense. Deshaun Watson and fully healthy, we'll have to see. But the Cleveland Browns defense was top 5 last year. They made the playoffs with 4 quarterbacks. Don't sleep on them. CBS and Fox would not both have a doubleheader. CBS and Fox will not have a doubleheader in week 1. Fox has its opening week, followed by CBS in week 2. The league will also announce the dates and opponents for 4 international games in Europe on Wednesday. One of them is going to be Jacksonville, Minnesota, and Chicago are designated home teams for the London contest, and Carolina will go to Germany. So we will get more information tomorrow as far as the schedule. Like I said, we will be doing a live show for that schedule. We'll be doing one. I promise you. The NFL is back. And I love the NFL. Who doesn't love the NFL? NFL is one of the greatest things of all time. College football, my second favorite team in Notre Dame faces A&M on primetime TV on August 31st. First full week of college football season A triple header on ABC. A&M versus Notre Dame. Mike Elko leaving Duke to go into A&M. He was the defensive coordinator and safeties coach in 2018 and 2021. Before being hired at Duke, he was 16-9 in 2 seasons. Elko was also defensive coordinator at Notre Dame in 2017, which I remember him very well under Brian Kelly. I think 2017, we had one of the top 5, top 7 defenses in 2017 as well. College Game Day will originate from College Station that day for the first time since 2018. Also, other Week 1 games besides that will be Clemson and Georgia and Atlanta at 12. Florida versus Miami at 3:30. Thursday night would be USC, September 1st, to Sunday, the Labor Day weekend. USC versus LSU. ESPN Network also announced that College Game Day will make its first international trip on August 24th when Florida faces Georgia Tech in Ireland. That game will be at 12 o'clock as in college football, they call it Week 0. This is going to be great. Also, ABC with the MEAC and SWAC kickoff will be Florida A&M versus Norfolk State. Alabama will be hosting Western Kentucky, which this is Kalen DeBoer's debut, but I don't think I'll be watching Alabama and Western Kentucky. You should beat the crap out of Western Kentucky by 50 points. Texas and Oklahoma, which join the SEC this upcoming season, will have openers. The Sooners will face Temple, and Longhorns will face Colorado State. Troy Taylor knows best, Jay Norvell, and Bill Best. Bill Best, one of the greatest offensive line coaches of all time, along with Alex Mirabal and Jay Norvell, the head coach. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say it right now. Colorado State going to upset Texas. Colorado State is going to upset Texas on August 31st. ESPN will also have North Dakota State versus Colorado. Coach Prime time television. North Dakota State has won multiple championships, and man, it's going to be great. Colorado's going to have trouble with North Dakota State. North Dakota State has history. Now, if they beat them, congratulations. TCU and Stanford on August 30th. Boston College at Florida State on September 2nd. More football games. The Big Ten Saturday night will be the defending national champions in Michigan hosting Fresno State. The new era of the Sharon Moore era. The Sharon Moore era. Colorado versus Nebraska on September 6th. I think it was a matchup of week 2 or week 3. Week 3 last year. I think it was week 3. Nebraska and Matt Rule are going to be improved. That'll be a great matchup. Fox also has 2 big noon Saturday matchups. Texas versus Michigan. Welcome to the SEC, Texas. You're not playing in the Big 12. You got Colorado State week 1, and you got Michigan. And then you have a Monday matchup, Alabama versus Wisconsin. Man, this is going to be a great matchup. The Pac-12 also announced that Oregon State and Washington State's home games will be on CW Network. Well, the only thing I'm watching is CW Network is All-American. That's a great show. Or Fox. Most will be on CW, including the Beavers versus the Cougars. Fox or FS1 will have Texas Tech at Washington State and Oregon at Oregon State. Very early. Oregon and Oregon State normally play towards the end of the season. It's going to be played in week 1 or week 2. Man. Oregon State and Washington State remain committed to rebuilding the Pac-12, but also will have a two-team league for 2024 and 2025 and plus the CW network, which is pretty garbage, will also have package of plenty of ACC games. Well, that's a lot of football. Football is back. College football is going to be great. Who doesn't love watching college football with these great matchups? It's a 12-team playoff. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a 12-team playoff. It's a 12-team playoff. We're going to have to see how it goes. Last thing I want to talk about. The retirement of Lisa Boulder at Iowa. That was shocking as well. She retired after 24 seasons and 528 wins. The assistant Jan Jensen is going to take over as Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Boulder is one of the top coaches in all of women's basketball. Pat Summitt, Dawn Staley, McCurkey out of LSU. I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. She played at Northern Iowa. Finished the overall career of 884 wins, 396 losses. She also had stops to St. Ambrose 6 seasons and Drake 10 seasons before taking over Iowa for the past 24 years. She's made 18 NCAA championships. She was a 3-time Big Ten's Coach of the Year. She went 263 and 144 in Big Ten games. This team went 34-5 with Caitlin Clark, who was number 1, went to Indiana Fever, but they lost to LSU in the 2023 title game. And then they lost to South Carolina as well. Caitlin Clark became also one of the leading scorers in all of college basketball on the women's side. This is shocking, but I mean, it's 24 seasons. I give her flowers and her respect. Sometimes you get to a situation where she knew it was time to hang it up, but she is one of the top coaches. She just knows how to win everywhere she went. St. Ambrose, Drake. I mean, she knows how to win everywhere she goes. She's been in Iowa for the past 24 years. Iowa had a team. Kate Martin, Caitlin Clark. They had that big girl, number 55. I can't remember her name. They had a team. How good will Iowa be without Caitlin Clark? I mean, like I said, Caitlin Clark is the system. Caitlin Clark is the system. What's going on, Steve? Thank you for tuning in. Caitlin Clark is the system. So, I'm not saying Iowa's going to suck or they're going to have a downfall, but without Caitlin Clark, it's going to be different. Without Kate Martin, it's going to be different. I mean, that class of 20, that class when it first came out, Paige Buckners, Caitlin Clark, that class, man, wow. Wow. I mean, it's great. Well, happy birthday, Mason. I'm not going to sing. My throat's messed up. I can't sing happy birthday. But happy birthday to you, Mason, as well. Hope your day gets better. Who do you got between the Nuggets and Timberwolves? I got the Timberwolves tonight, game 5. All right, well, Totem Pole Sports, this is it for Totem Pole Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You're sponsored by St. Pete Rejuvenate. And you can go to autograph.io. You can download the app on Google Play or the App Store and use promo code Totem Pole Sports. Get your merch at TotemPoleNation.com as well. Don't forget, this is Totem Pole Sports. We will be back for bigger and better content. As always, don't forget to sign up to Autograph.io. Use the code Totem Pole Sports. We'll see you later. Y'all have a great day.